Hello everyone, it's Robin the Artsy Bohemian coming to you from my studio in Los Angeles, California. Thank you for coming and watching my video, and thank you for all the support that you have been giving me, especially for my monthly boutique that happened last Tuesday. I can tell what sells the best because I think it's mostly because of you guys, because you like paper crafting and you like junk journals. All of the kits and things that sold the quickest had to do with paper crafts. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for your patience, because we're going to be starting where we left off with these journals. If you are new to my channel and you're seeing this for the first time, I will leave links down below. There's 2 videos that you might want to look at where I show you how to make these folio type journals, and they're made out of toilet paper rolls and recycled materials. So go check those out, and you can come back and finish the journals with us. So the other day I got some happy mail from Red Lead, and those of you who have been following me know that I love Red Lead. They're a rubber stamp company, and out of the blue, I just got this huge package from them. So I'm going to play around with some of the stamps that they gave me. Of course, they sent it in this amazing stamped bag. And they sent me some stamps that are not mounted. So I'm going to show you some really quick, easy ways to work with unmounted stamps. And we're going to do a couple of pages in the journal before we bind it. I just wanted to show you the other ones that they send these super cute boxes that they rubber stamp. So you guys know, we've seen this one, this cute little scruffy bunny. I call it the scruffy bunny. And these beautiful words. So I might use one of these, maybe Vintage Treasures, in the stamping. And then a little bumblebee, and this. I'm pretty sure I already have this, so this might be part of a giveaway. Which reminds me, thank you. I've reached 12,000 subscribers. That's amazing. I was hoping to reach 15,000 by the spring. Doesn't look like that's going to happen because the spring is almost here. So as soon as I do, I will have a giveaway. And so there's also these beautiful, huge unmounted stamps, and these are all florals. So these are great because you just stamp it once and you have a card ready, or you have a wonderful journal page done. And then these are smaller ones. And then this adorable. I have this stamp, the smaller one that's mounted. I absolutely adore her. And it says she sprinkles a pinch of fairy dust. So I think this comes together as a set when you buy it. So we're going to play with those, and then I'm going to show you, we're going to finish this for sure. We're going to finish this even if it takes a long time. So buckle down. This might be a long, long video. So I think what I will do is I'll pick one of these floral ones. I kind of was playing with this one already. The cool thing is when they send you these stamps, they come on a hard piece of plastic and then an index card so that you know which one it belongs to. So I already used this one a couple times. I'll show you what I did. And then I'm going to play around with this other one of these other ones. Maybe I'll do this. This looks like thistles. And of course, they always wrap everything in this yummy Hug Snug, so I'm going to keep that. And a nice sweet card. Okay, so So what I did was I went ahead and cut the signatures for both of these, and you could do more if you wanted. I did 5 signatures with 5 sheets in each signature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess I did 6 in each. And you can see I mixed up the pages. You can do it all blank, you know, some like typewriter paper if you want to. I just think for me it's kind of boring to do it that way. So I did that on that, and the same on this one. I'm still not done. I kind of filled a couple of the signatures thicker than the other. This one has 6, but I'm going to dwindle it down to 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, yeah. So before I bind them, I thought it would be fun to rubber stamp a few things. So this one I already did. I mean, it just looks beautiful, and that's all it takes. It's just black ink, and you can stamp right on it on any piece of paper. I like doing it on the music paper. And then I thought it would be fun, so what I did was I took the same stamp and I stamped it on some decorative paper. And I'm just going to cut out the just one of the flowers, and I'm going to glue it down, so that gives you some color without actually coloring it. And then I'm just going to glue it on top of the one flower that's already stamped on this music paper. And I'll just show you a couple of tricks to stamp large unmounted stamps like this. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Everybody has their own way, but so I'm just going to glue that down. You have instant color without coloring it. Cute. So that's one of the pages. And then, excuse me, did another one here. So, maybe let's take, let's see. Let's do this one on this side. So this is a stamp positioner, and it's great for unmounted stamps. If you don't have this, you can always just stamp it directly onto the page or the paper that you're using. So this is the plastic that it's on. So you could literally just use this and stamp on the, I'll just show you, onto the page that you're going to be stamping onto. So you can take your black ink. This ink is not the best that I have here. But basically you can stamp the whole thing like this, and it's upside down. It's going to be faint because like this is not a very good, this is an older, this needs more ink, this stamp pad. And sometimes there's shadows, so you can just wipe those off with the towel that kind of stick to the edge of the stamp. So this is what you would do if you don't have a positioner. and you can take it and just kind of rub it on there. Hold it in the center so it doesn't move. And just get it on all sides. Make sure all the ink touches the paper. And there you go. So you can see it's kind of faint, but it still looks pretty. So the other way, I had inked this up earlier. One of these stamp pads here. Just a black stamp pad. So you would take your stamp pad and your positioner and take this off, and I should probably clean that first really quick. I have this old Stampin' Up stamp cleaner. Stampin' Up has such great quality. I used to be a demonstrator for them, and everything I have, which is over 15 years old, is still in great shape. So, like anything, if I find a method that I like to do and I really like it, what I'll do is I will make a bunch of them. So, for instance, you know, this particular method, you can take a bunch of, you know, die cuts or pieces of paper. I had a die cut, oh, here, right here. So if you have die cuts like this is from, I think this might be Tim Holtz, or it might be Stampin' Up. I love this. I've used this probably thousands of times. It's my most favorite die cut. So, for example, you could take, you know, 10 of these and just stamp them all, and they're ready to go. You put a little thank you to plop onto a card, and you're done. So when you're stamping with, oh, this is the big one. I think I wanted to use the smaller one. Oh, I'll just stick with this. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than I wanted. Let's see, I think, yeah, I'm going to use the smaller one here. Do this over here. So this is the thistle one. Because I have a plan. There's something that I want to do with this. So you're going to put your paper in, or your card, whatever it is you're going to be using, and butt it up against the corner here. And those of you who have one of these already know how to do this, but then you're going to take your rubber stamp and you're going to position it exactly where you want it. And then this grabs the backing. It's a cling. It clings onto the plastic here. And then you're going to rubber stamp your image. And so I'm going to use a brayer. It's just it's a cleaner, and I just put ink on this and it looks like it's, I don't know if this is the great ink either. I'm going to keep doing this and see how it works. This just gives you an even coverage. And then the great thing about this stamp positioner is if it's not as vibrant as you wanted, oh, I got ink all over there, you can ink it up again and then just press it down and it'll stamp it in the exact spot that it's supposed to stamp. I'll do it one more time, see if I can get it a little bit darker. Oh, my ink pads are so grungy and messy. getting ink on everything. And, you know, if you don't have a brayer, you can stamp it directly onto the rubber stamp, you know, like this. Just keep stamping it, inking it up. And I hope this, you know, you can tape this down with some painter's tape. I didn't think about that. So hopefully I've lined it up just right. And if I didn't, then it's going to have a shadow. Oh, looks like it came out good. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little fun thing, and then we'll move on to the binding. Messy, messy, messy. I forgot how messy sometimes rubber stamping is, especially if all your rubber stamp pads are messy. Alright, so you take this image and then cut around it. And you'll have like a little peekaboo for the page that's underneath it, so you can put a little, write a sentiment, or, you know, if you're journaling, you can put a little calendar if you want to, or the number of the page. You can always color this in with a little bit of watercolor or colored pencils. We might, let me know if you want to know more about that. Be happy to show you in another video. See how cute that is? Very simple. Just adds another element to your journal. So let's see here. Trying to find a page that I can write on. Let's see what this one will be. Oh, this doesn't work either. So say you had, you know, your page behind it was contrasting here. Let's see, let's take one of these little words maybe. And you can stamp vintage treasures here. Ooh, boy, that one's too. Whew, not doing so good with my rubber stamp pads. Okay, so I inked this up, and I'm going to just stamp it right here. How cool that is. And you just have this kind of neat cutout, and you can see the words there. I also rubber stamped this beautiful bird here. so clear on here. And then you can take this rubber stamp. Then it says, and she flew home to her nest. So cute. How nice that is. You can customize your journal with these amazing rubber stamps. So get a pencil, because we're going to mark where the holes are going to be punched on our signatures. Put this over here. I'm going to do this one because all of the signatures are done. Just love that. So cute. Thank you, Red Lead. I love everything. I was so surprised. I'll put the link down below, you guys. For those of you who are new to Red Lead, you're going to go crazy. They have little tutorials, video tutorials on using their stamps. They have all kinds of fun ephemera. Their line of stamps is their own. You can't find them anywhere else. It's their own artwork and their own word stamps. I love their word stamps. I pretty much have most all of them. They have great stencils. Lots of fun little trinkets to add to your journals. They have little journal kits. Really great. And it's a sister and sister team business. And they're just wonderful. So you're going to take your signatures, you're going to line them all up. I made these the exact size as the actual journal. This one, if you've been following along, the signatures are not, I mean, they're not all the exact same, but I kind of mixed them up a little bit. But you want them to be 4.5 by 5.5, I believe. Yeah, 4.5 by 5.5. And they'll fit perfectly, and they'll be flush from top to bottom. So it's going to look really cool like that. This stuff here. So then you're going to make sure all your signatures are touching the edges here of your buttonhole. And you're going to take your pencil and mark with a pencil the edges here. I might have to do this in white because I have colored pages here. Then you're going to take an awl. If you don't have an awl, you can use a really big needle, like kind of a fat needle. And you're going to take one signature at a time and then poke holes. I'll show you one, and then I'll come back when they're all done. Now I made my pages a little off. They're a little different. And you just want to make sure that all of these are pushed down into the middle here. So if you have pages that are not the same size, just make sure they're centered so the hole is somewhat centered when you punch it. And you can take some clothespins if you want to and fold the pages together. I need to get something underneath this so I don't punch a hole in my thing. So you're going to do that to all of them. position back here. So you only need 2 holes. It's a lot different than like a regular, you know, pamphlet binding or other types of bindings. So punch 2 holes in all of your signatures and we'll finish from there. One thing I wanted to also mention before you stamp, if you're using different size paper, I mean, I'm not using different size too much in this, but the center one is, and so you can cheat and add a little bit of glue here just so it stays in place. It's just easier. Just make sure it's centered, and then you can put your holes in it. You just don't want the glue to stick to the edges, so it's just a tiny bit, just so that it will stay in place. All right, so I punched holes in all the signatures, and I was getting ready to sew the signatures, and then I thought I should probably figure out what the front's going to look like. So I know you guys have asked to show my process instead of just skipping and then doing it. So this is what I'm going to do. I brought out some things that I think I might want to put on the front, and we'll just work on the decoration and how it's going to close, and then we'll proceed with the binding, because the design on the front is going to dictate what I'm going to use for the binding and the stitches to sew the signatures on. I'm still probably going to use beads, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use colored beads or more neutral colors, shades. So I want to think outside of the box. I don't want to just do, you know, a typical kind of closure for a journal. So I was looking at the original idea, and they don't show you, it's in the Somerset Studio magazine. They don't really show you what they did, but you can kind of see they did the thing where they added eyelets on the top and the bottom, and then it looks like they added maybe some embroidery floss so that they could wrap it around. So you could do something like that. You can also do it with the elastic, which I think is what they did in this right here. So she added an eyelet on the top and the bottom of the front with elastic, and that's really easy to do. It's actually, I like that. It's quick because you can open your journal quickly. But for this particular journal, I don't like the way it looks. So this looks like it's the back of her journal. This is the front cover. That's what I'm guessing, because like I said, it's kind of vague. But that's one method. And I have some of this gold elastic that I thought I might use, and I think it would look kind of cute, but I still want to keep with the shabby kind of grungy look, and so that's what I'm going to work on, and I'm going to show you my thought process and tell you why I'm choosing the things I'm choosing. So I have 2 ideas that I'm going to go with. One of them I'm going to go with. And I really like this one. Basically, it's taking little snippets of laces, see-through laces and doilies, and gluing them, or I can sew them and then glue them down like this. And I want to do something underneath this as well. So I know I'm going to use like a little cluster like this. And those of you who have been following me know that I like to do transparent layers, so you can see everything, how pretty everything is. These are all old, of course. And then I want kind of this to be covered too, because I'm not really liking all this yellow color here. So, I mean, I kind of like it, but I don't love it. So I'm thinking of doing something for the flap, and I don't want it to look too rigid or predictable. So I just tore some lace that I have here, and maybe some of this old tatting. Basically, it's going to be, I don't want it to be flippy floppy, so when I open it, I don't want it to kind of like be in the way, but I still want to have that look. so it needs to be kind of stiff. And this kind of fits the bill. It's a old embroidered type of tulle, and I can still see the work that we did. And let's see. So it's not like I want to completely obstruct everything that we've already done, but I'm just adding, like Robin Brown says, beauty on beauty. Robin Brown is the founder of Magnolia Pearl. So I kind of just messing with these ideas here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this. And just, you can sit with these things and see how you like it, and then come back in a couple of hours and see if you still like it, and then you can glue everything down. I kind of already know what I'm going to do, but like I said, I'm showing you why I'm doing this and the kinds of materials that I'm using. So I'm not sure. I'm going to leave this. I like this little patch that I've made, so I'm going to keep putting that to the side. And it could be that this will be underneath. And the cool thing is it'll show when I open it, so it won't be hidden completely. Yeah, I kind of like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all of this down. And then before I do that, I just wanted to show you two things I thought of for the closure. So if you have some watch faces, there's usually a hole in the center. And so you can take a brad, put it through the center, and then attach it to your piece. And you want to do that and add some string, or I have this silk ribbon here under, and then attach it all, because this ribbon is going to be what I can tie everything together with. I've been saving this forever. I think it was from an old gown, like a sleeping gown, but I'm pretty sure it's silk. And I just like how aged it looks. So it looks pretty. It has the same feel and colors that I'm kind of going for in this, and I really like this look. The other idea I had is putting down a button that has a shank on it, punching a hole and attaching it to the back. And the way I can secure it is, you know those buttons you've seen, the old buttons with these little things on them? That's what I'll secure it with. It'll keep it in place, and it won't. I don't think it would have a lot of bulk to it, but that's another option. And this is kind of plain, so whenever I have kind of a plain button, even though it's a beautiful mother of pearl button, I would add maybe another button to it, or a really pretty cabochon, maybe a cameo or something like that. So I have a container that's mostly just for, in fact, I don't think I did them all in this one, but buttons that have thread in them. This one I thought it did, but it's not completely. So you could put a button on top of a button. You can do some layering. So those are the two ideas that I really liked. I don't think I've seen anybody do that, and my hope is that you come watch my videos because you want new ideas. So I'm really liking this. This is so amazing. buy large quantities of ephemera for my kits, and the last batch I bought of watch faces were for my slow stitch snippet necklace class, and I thought they were supposed to be small, and they turned out to be huge, so I wound up not being able to use any of them. But, you know, never fear, there's always things you can use them for, like these. These are the ones I think I got in the batch, and those would still look cool. I would put more on here. I would do some more layering with maybe some other watches, or, you know, it would just, that looks really cool. So just kind of think outside of the box. Think about, you know, things that can connect with each other, or you can wrap around. And so I think I like this. I like the way that this looks. And I am going to secure everything by gluing it. Not this one piece for right now, but yeah, we're going to glue all this down. So the brads, I'm just going to use a really tiny brad, and I might add something just small on top of that. If you have, you know, there's a bazillion brads out there at the hobby stores. If you find some that are pretty and you want to just keep your closure, you know, simple, you can get ones with little rhinestones on them like these. These aren't the colors I would want to use, but just giving you some ideas, throwing some ideas out there. The one I'm going to use is from here. These are all from Stamping Up, super old. I'm probably going to use like a darker colored one. These are pretty tiny, and I'm hoping that the stem of the brad is long enough to go through. So we're going to figure this out together. So you see, like that. And then there's these pokey things on the watch face, and you have to cut those off. So whenever you're cutting anything with the wire cutters, just do that so you don't fling the piece off. And then you could file it if you wanted to. It's a little pokey, but it's not that bad. So I would put the brad through here and then punch a hole, a little tiny hole, and then attach it. But first I'm going to add, and this looks like it'll probably work. I'm going to add all these pieces here. Kind of doing this so I can figure out where they land. And of course you could sew all of this on if you wanted to. So I'm going to wait for this to dry. Okay, so I was playing around with, I rubber stamped some more on the pages. This is dried here. I like the way that looks. I picked out some beads, and I played around with the rubber stamps some more. I made some shrinky dinks. I don't know if you guys know what those are, but it's a shrink plastic. So this was one of the larger botanical rubber stamps, and I colored it. So in between takes, you guys don't know this, but people who make videos and YouTube videos know what I'm talking about, where it looks like I just came, you know, like I did this, I glued this down, and then I'm here. But it's been like 5 hours because I just started getting caught up in making all different kinds of things and rubber stamping and what about this and what about that. So anyway, so I made one of these. I thought maybe I could put it somewhere on here, because what's happening is this is becoming kind of a nature theme without me really having the intent. And so that's kind of coloring the colors that I'm choosing for my beads, because on the outside pages, which are the ones that are going to show, and this is something that you might want to keep in mind, if you have pages that have color on them, you might want to pick the colors or something similar for your beads that you're going to be using to bind the spine. So also, I realized that when I was rubber stamping, I was using this, and I didn't tell you guys. This is Fabrico Premium Multi-Purpose Craft Ink. It's a great ink. I had just squirted some. I re-inked it before I started stamping, and it's just amazing how vibrant it is. So I thought I would let you know that, because I went and started stamping lots more stuff. I stamped this adorable rubber stamp here on some paper that I've been keeping since my daughter was in elementary school. This is one of her friends' homework, and I just thought it was so old school looking, and it's like from 2008, and I stamped it on the paper and then cut it out and then glued it to this, and it looked great. This butterfly is part of the page that was from an Edith Holden page, and it just happens to look so cute. And then of course that stamp right there from Red Lead. This is also from Red Lead. So Red Lead uses Ranger Jet Black archival ink, and because whenever I get stuff from them, everything they do, all of the stamping that they do, because they make cute cards and they make, you know, they decorate the envelopes and everything, looks so opaque and vibrant, and that's what they use. So if that's something that you need to know, I didn't really know. I probably have used it in the past. I just don't really pay attention to what inks I get, but I think it makes a difference. All right, so now on to binding this. What you're going to need, what I'm using, you don't have to use this, but I'm using waxed cord. It's size 0.45 millimeters. I think you can see that. And it's fairly thin. The reason why I like using waxed is because it bends and it keeps its shape. It won't lose the integrity, and it will kind of stay in place. Plus, you can burn the ends if you want to, because it's synthetic. It's extremely strong. I use a lot of this style and for my beadwork. And so if you don't have this, you can wax your own cord, you know, like a heavy duty, like maybe an upholstery style thread. This is kind of an upholstery style thread. It's very thick. And you can wax it with beeswax if you want. You can use embroidery floss if you like. You know, whatever you have on hand. But if you're going to be using it for beading, it needs to be kind of thin, because we're using small-ish type beads with large holes. You don't want to use really big beads. It's gonna kind of make the binding wonky. And as it is with doing this, I've never done this before. I've used beads for spines, but not on a spine like this, not this buttonhole stitch. So who knows? It might be it's an experiment. We're going to do it together, and I'm going to just show you what I'm going to use, and hopefully it's going to work. So you're going to take your cord, and I wrapped it 6 times around the spine, and it might be more than I need. So I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that gave me approximately 2 yards, I believe. So if you're doing the same size as I am, that's, start with that. And even if we run out, it's not going to be the end of the world. We can add more cord. So you also need to make sure that your needle is going to fit through the cord and through the bead. I typically use a beading needle, but those are so tiny that it would be impossible to thread this cord. This is a little bit too thick for that. But embroidery needles are amazing. They're extremely sharp, for one thing. They have a large eye, but it's not so fat at the end where the eye is that you can't slip on smallish type of beads. And so that's what I did. I figured out which one I should use. I don't know the size of this one because this is a multi-pack, and I don't know. So you would just have to find the beads that would fit through the needle that you're going to be using. So I'm using these Toho seed beads are a size 8. So there's a difference between this kind of bead and just getting any old bead from the craft store. These are extremely well made, very uniform, and the holes are big. So this size 8 is not going to be the same size 8 as another bead that you might get. So it's specifically Toho. I believe they're from Japan. Very well made. And as you can see, I'm using a color that matches the spine. I'm also going to see if these will coordinate well. I kind of want to create a little bit of a pattern on this length that we're doing. These are Japanese bugles. There's a size 6, and they do fit this needle. Most bugles have a pretty small hole, but that's what I'm using. I'll leave the link down below. It's Bistro Crafts.com. I also have these little containers. You can use whatever container you want. Just kind of helps to keep everything organized. So you're going to start with one signature and make sure that you have all your holes punched before you do this. And you're going to use one signature at a time. So what you're going to do is you're going to go start in the center. Get this out of the way. And you're going to punch this through and leave a tail about 6 inches or 4 inches. And then, oops, you're going to take your cord and pull it through the window. And so we've pulled it through the window. I'm going to add some beads. I don't know how many, just depends on So it's going to go up here. This is going to be the first page. So I was thinking of maybe putting a bugle and then some of the green and then another bugle and then a bugle at the end. And more of the green and then another bugle at the end. So we'll see how that goes. This is going to be fiddly in the very beginning because I'm figuring this all out. But once I get a pattern, and it should be more clear. I hope that you can see that. So maybe one more green. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 green, another bugle. Oops. Yeah. And then 6 green again. We'll see how this goes. Looks like it's going to work. So now you're going to take your needle all the way over and your thread all the way over the spine here and enter you don't have to go through any holes or anything. You're just going to bring this over, and I'm going to pull this a little bit and tie it. I'm going to do a double knot, or maybe just a regular knot. I'm going to tie it again. Another knot. I think I need to do that again. To bend this because it's going to get in the way. And bring this kind of towards the knot there. So the first one's on. It's going to look cool, I think. You don't have to do this. It's the same process. You don't have to add the beads though. All right, now you're going to go through the same hole that you went through the first time. Because you're using a sharp needle, use the blunt end. So turn it around. Use the side where the eye is to go through so you don't puncture the cord. Now this is the part where you're going to go. I think this is what you're going to be doing. Don't do it yet until I finish it. You go through and make a loop, then go through that loop. Here, pull it, and it's gonna kind of give you a little knot there. And now you're going to get another signature and go into the hole in the next signature. So you're going to take your needle and go through the hole of this signature. Oh boy, these are going to have to go. So obviously this is going to be extremely fiddly until you have all of them in, and then the other side's going to be way quicker and easier. Okay, phew, got that one in. Now I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to go over the top and add the beads and then grab that loop. We'll see here. So I'm going to do the same sequence of beads. So a bugle, six of the green, and then a bugle, six of the green, I'm going to loop through this. I hope this is right. I feel like this is not right. Alright, so I am right. It just felt weird because I have beads on here. And if you don't have beads, it looks a little bit different. Not that the technique is different, it's just because I have beads. I hope that makes sense. So I have the beads on here. And you're going to go through the loop here. Make sure you don't go through the thread itself with the needle, and then just pull, and then you're going to grab another signature, and you just keep doing this. I'll do this whole thing with you, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but this is one of those kinds of things it's kind of good to see the whole process. Okay, so grab a third signature, and you're going to be able to scooch these over. You'll be able to tighten them a little bit more once we, get all of them together. I think it's going to look really pretty. Different, that's for sure. All right, so now I have my third signature. And just remember also that if you have pages that you've already stamped or did artwork in, to make sure they're all facing the right way. So my third signature is here. And I'm going to put my needle through the window and then through the signature on the top. Oh my God, you need so much room to do this. Everything just gets in the way. Let's see if I can do it all at once here. And I can't. This is probably the most frustrating part for me, is binding. I love the way it looks when it's done, but I hate doing it. Let me know in the comments down below if this drives you nuts too, binding the books. I think it's just because there's so many parts that you have to deal with until all of, the signatures kind of get in one place, until they stay together. Yeah, it drives me crazy. So now this goes over the top of the buttonhole stitch. We're going to do another layer of beads from the top here. So 1 bugle, 6 green, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my God. Usually I have a bead board, but it's being occupied right now, and that's what happens when you don't have a bead board. Things get flung all over the place. So this is the tricky part when you're using beads. If you're not using beads, this wouldn't be as fiddly. It would still be fiddly, but not as much. Is the fact that the beads are going to want to go on the inside of the spine instead of lay on the top until you secure it to this next, the row beside it. So I'm going to go underneath the row that is parallel to this one, and it attaches to This one here. Oh my god, I'm gonna scream. And then that goes through this. Does it? Oh no, it doesn't. Alright. So I have 3 on there. So yeah, I'm going to go through that. I'm holding all the beads together because they were being unruly. And now it will stay in place. So you should start seeing this pattern of loops here. From one to the next. Now, the 4th one, and I'm just kind of flinging these to make sure they're fairly tight. They keep loosening up, obviously, because I have to let go of the thread at some points. But once I have all 5 of them on, they should start feeling like they're staying on there. Okay, so here's the 4th one. I'm just going to put my needle through the window so it's there. Oh, it went through all of them. Yay! And go over the top. Start grabbing my beads. By the way, I'm using one cord for the whole, for both sides, for this side and this side, and you'll see what I do when I go from here to this side. Told you this was going to be long. Sorry. So I'm holding them all together. This just seems to be easier for me to do it this way. And then go through the loop. Last one, yay! It's starting to look cute. It's all worth it. You know, it's like having a baby. Not exactly, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's go through the window. Last signature, and then we'll move on to the other side. Woohoo! pulling it tight, semi-tight, so you don't want to rip the pages either. That seems to be the easiest way for me to keep everything in place. It's starting to look really pretty. Is by closing it so that when I start beading it, it's not going to have a tendency to fall down inside of the signature. So another bugle bead. Make sure when you go through that loop there that you don't go through your thread. It'll shred it. Because this is a sharp needle. Oops, what happened there? Oh, I did something wrong. Now I have to go through this hole here. Wait. Okay, figured out what to do. So you're still going to go through the, well, let me just show you again here. You're still going to go through this loop here, but you have to do something to make it so that it doesn't get hooked on this side. I told you that I don't know how to do this, so we're doing this together. Okay, so you did your last set of beads here, and now it's getting stuck in there. So you're going to find the cord that is right here, that's attached to the 4 and the 5, and go through it with your needle, and it's going to want to pull to this side, but you have to kind of pull it over and then go back through that hole. And again, you're going to use the side with the eye so that you don't puncture your cord. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the center of the 5th one, and hopefully it'll go through all of them without a problem. sure that looks right. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Okay, phew. Just gonna line them up and give a little snug tug on it. Make sure they're not loose. You might have to go back and kind of tighten them up a little bit because we're going to knot it and then work on the other side with the same cord. Just kind of pulling them and tightening them all. Now, since they're all fairly snug on there, I'm going to take my needle and thread and I'm going to go through that cord there and make a loop and knot it. So I just made a knot through that loop. And hopefully this will, stay fairly tight. Now hopefully the last part of this won't be as fiddly, but I think you'll agree that it was probably worth it. It looks pretty cool. So now we're going to go and work the other side. Just one signature at a time. And do our same pattern. And then this goes over the top. And back through that hole, just like we did in the very beginning, with the eye in this going through that hole so you don't puncture the thread. It's going through the same hole that we started with. I'm going to go underneath that. Okay, so we finished the one on this side, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go back through these holes on the second signature here. Should probably grab the center of that. And do the whole thing over again. Pull over the top and do the same pattern. I'm going to do this one more time, and then I'll come back when they're all, when I do the very last one, so you can see how that's taken care of. So this is a little off, the bugle beads, and this part here isn't as wide as this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to take off one of the seed beads to see if that helps. Otherwise it's not going to line up right. Yeah, that'll work. So now I'm just gonna again go through the loop, the cord here, so I can grab the next set and then move on to the third signature over here. So I'm going to keep doing that, and I'll come back when I'm done with the last one. Okay, I'm to the fourth to the last one. So I'm on the fourth signature. I'm going to go through my cord here and secure it, and then do the last one. So I wound up just doing 6 on one row and 5 on the other, just in case you were wondering, because this was too short. It was a little bit shorter than this side, so you might have to adjust yours. Great, there's a knot in it. Okay, got the knot out. Okay, so now I am going to grab that cord like we've been doing, the one that goes between each signature, go underneath that. Everything feels fairly tight. And I'm going to go back through the same hole, this hole, and remember to go use the eye of the needle. We're almost done. Yay. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off because it's just easier. So I had quite a bit left, probably about 2 feet. So it's always better to have more than not enough. And I'm going to just pull this a little to make it a little tighter. And now I'm just going to tie a knot with this because we're back where we started. This is the where we started with the beading, and now we're ending. And it actually worked. So pat yourself on the back. We did it. I'm going to make a double knot here, making sure to hold it so it doesn't move. Oh, and I didn't do a very good job. That's not too bad. So you could leave that and add little dangles if you want. I'm going to probably burn the ends. Super cute. It's always so satisfying when a book is done and you can flip through it. This will probably go up for sale on my monthly boutique. Some fun watercolor papers to draw on. You can do some collage on I kind of already started some here. I just love this first page here. It's so cute. And thanks again, Red Lead, for sending me so many goodies. What a nice surprise. I did add some lace. I might add more. You know how I am. And I did some collages in here. Yeah, that's a neat stitch. And it's exactly what you would do without beads. I made a little pocket here. Oops, I kind of got glued in there. Peekaboo. Yeah, all of these rubber stamps are Red Lead that I used in here. Even like this moon, which is my favorite. Anybody who's gotten mail from me on the outside, I always like to stamp my packages, so you've probably seen this. This is a Red Lead. I don't know if they still have this, but it's one of my favorite. Alright, so now for the very, very end, we're going to add the button, and I'm just going to add a hole, punch a hole. That would be pretty too if you wanted to do shrinky dinks. And remember to leave a comment. If you guys, there's certain things you want me to show you, just let me know. If I get more than one person that says, yes, please show me how to do that or this or whatever, I will usually try to fit it into my my scheduling for the videos. So yeah, this is shrink plastic. It's sometimes they're called Shrinky Dinks, and I stamped this like I said earlier, and then I colored it, and it just came out beautiful. It's so pretty. This is an ivory colored shrink plastic. Might even look good there. And if you wanted to add this, you would poke holes in it first to make it kind of into a button. But I'm going to stick with this really pretty old watch face. I'm going to punch a hole. I thought of this too. This would be pretty. I might actually add, I'm probably going to add more lace. I'm kind of thinking this needs more lace over here. Yeah, I'm probably going to add more lace on this. And maybe in the front. Doesn't she just make you happy? So this was kind of a thought too. The great thing is if I change my mind, I can undo the brad. So I'm going to do that and add don't forget to put your ribbon on there. So this is a fairly long ribbon, and I'm going to find the halfway point here. Which is like right about there. And then poke a hole in that too. So I'll just do it with my awl here so I know where it's at. Oops, I didn't do it in the middle. I think I like it a little off-center. We'll see here. It's kind of bulky on the other side. I might have to do it here because of the brad. I don't know if the brad's going to go all the way through. So I'm sticking the brad through the ribbon, and then the whole thing is going to go through here. I don't even know where the hole is. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll just do this. This is a 1/8 inch or 1/16 inch hole punch. It's really tiny. So I don't know if this is gonna be too, oh, that's so cute. If that's gonna be real sturdy, but I could always add something else on the other end here to keep it, you know, from flinging off. It's pretty much in there, so. So kind of play with that, but that's kind of the gist of it. I didn't make it too tight right here. You could make it a little tighter. And then this one, I didn't finish this. It's almost done. This one will also probably be for sale in my monthly boutique. I'm gonna just, you know, decorate it more and make it really fun. And hope you guys enjoyed that. It was a very different project, and I really liked the way it came out. It was kind of a fun project to do. Yeah. You could use a Hug Snug if you want to, you know, instead of something like this. But if I add any extras to it, I'll show it to you next Tuesday. Okay, so this didn't work. I think it's a great idea still. But honestly, I don't think I like it with this. And so I kind of was playing around and adding some extra goodies. So what I came up with is I did add some more lace here. I like the way this looks as opposed to without the lace. And I'm not so sure I love all this green here, but you know, it's kind of like hidden on the side. And I added this really adorable little medallion with some buttons, and I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way, just kind of tie it. I'm probably going to add another signature too, because there's enough room for another signature. So yeah, it's just going to have a bow, and I think it'll look cute, just like this. Much better, I think. Alright. Thank you so much again for watching. I appreciate you all, and I appreciate your wonderful comments. And make sure you subscribe and leave a comment if you want to see other types of videos like this. And give me a thumbs up. Thanks. Bye.